Sanlan. In my understanding, the 5 silas, the 5 precepts of the lay people are about the quality of kusala chittas. They are conditioned and they are natural, arise naturally. But when talking about the 8 precepts, it seems that they are precepts that we have to keep when someone have taken taken them. And the monks, for example, usually announce as a remider that at every Uposatha day, everyone needs to keep those 8 precepts. Could Achan and June and Sarah help to explain why in the Theravada tradition there is this tradition of keeping these 8 precepts at Uposatha days? In my consideration, this doesn't make sense because it is like a method with a lot of expectations and wrong view, and also clinging to rites and rituals with the idea that keeping the 8 precepts are kusala, or a lot of kusala. So would you please explain for better understanding? Thank you.
Well, just briefly, if I may make a short comment. The monks on the Uposatha day, I think they recite all the rules, the precepts that they are required to follow, that is 227. The reason the monks recite them is a reminder that for the monk, breach of the precept can have serious consequences to their status as a monk, and it also affects the other monks with whom they live. And that is why monks recite the precepts. They are not reciting them for the same reason that lay people ask the monk to give them the precepts. That is a different kind of thinking. The monks recite the precepts because the rules of the order require them to do so. Thank you.
I don't know if Achan or Sarah would like to add anything.
So the monk's life is the following of these precepts. With kusala chittas, naturally, if it's following and reciting with our kusala chittas and with a lot of anguish, then it's not the following as should be done, because it's not kusala sila at those moments, no matter whether the reciting and the behavior looks like it's correct. If there isn't the development of understanding and the development of kusala, then such reciting, such following is not the life of the monk. But perhaps Ajahn would like to add more to this topic.
Would you like to understand what precept is? Just the word precept or sila. What is it? See, we have to begin from the very beginning to understand each word of truth. Not just the word, don't kill and so on, but what is it? There must be the reality which is there. Experience the object with attachment or aversion or such deeds and speech by conditions. So what is really mean? Precept. What is the meaning of precept? What is the truth of it? If it does not experience anything, can there be any precept? So what is precept? Whatever arises and experiences the object, experience in its own way and conditions. For example, seeing now is not doing anything, it just arises to see by conditions. It's the result of karma. If we learn more little by little, what is moment of seeing and what is moment of attaching to what is seen or dislike it instantly by conditions. That's why we do not learn about the term and the meaning of the word, but we learn about the truth to understand each word represents a reality. For example, sila, what is it? The reality which does not experience the object at all. Can it behave wholesome or unwholesome manners? That's why we learn to understand what is meant by sila. It's only the reality which arises and experiences an object. It's conditioned to do or to speak or to behave in its own way or condition. Is that right? So now understand the manners of speech and deeds as it's wholesome or unwholesome. So we call it sila. But actually, it is just the behavior of the reality which experiences the object in its own way in a moment. That's why we learn little by little to understand the truth as no one there at all. If we think about I have precept, I will observe precept and so on. It's no understanding of Dhamma, of the truth. That's why in order to understand the truth, which is so very subtle, right now, is it precept or is it not? Not the word that it is abstain from killing, abstain from ill deeds and so on. But what is that? Learn just to understand what is that. Otherwise, one just observe the precept without any understanding of the truth of what precept is. So we have to study from the very beginning the reality which arises and experiences the object is different in every moment. The moment of seeing is not the moment of hearing. It's not the moment of liking or disliking. It is too far or too long to understand what sila is. But without understanding the truth of what sila is, it's impossible to understand the point of keeping or having sila. So what is more important? The understanding of what sila is, or just follow the sila without any understanding of sila at all. What is sila? See, we know about the 5 sila, but what is sila? We know about the 8 sila, but what is sila? See, that's why we have to begin from the very beginning to understand the ultimate truth, not just what is sila. It's the behavior of monk and lay people and so on. How many of them and so on. That is not the understanding. To let go, wrong understanding, taking it for something or I all the time. Atta. So what should be known? What is the most precious moment to know, to understand? What is there right now? And whether it's sila or not can be learned later. Not just begin by sila, but no understanding what sila is and what is sila. So what is sila? Should we know from the very beginning before it can be 5 or 8 or more?
Chị Xuân Lam có thử trả lời câu hỏi này không ạ?
Dạ thưa Achan, giới là thực tại nó là một pháp có thật là những cái phẩm chất của tâm, là những tâm sở thiện, bất thiện
She said that sila is reality, is real, is the different qualities of the cetasikas, the kusala and akusala cetasikas.
Can it be known in a day? Whether it's sila, what kind of sila? The
Dạ
reality
phần
is,
nhiều là giới bất thiện Achan, rất ít được biết Achan.
Mostly they are akusala sila and they are not known, Ajahn.
so now you know what is akusala sila, right? So in
Dạ
truth,
vâng Achan, con biết một chút ạ.
so in truth, what is akusala sila?
Dạ thiện giới là phẩm chất của tâm là thiện nó là bao gồm những cái tâm sở tịnh hảo Achan.
Ajahn hỏi về bất thiện giới á chị.
Bất thiện giới dạ bất thiện giới nó là phẩm chất, nó là tâm sở bất thiện
Akusala sila are the akusala cetasikas, Ajahn.
Yeah, that's it. Or we can say the akusala moment is akusala sila. Is that right? Otherwise,
Dạ
what?
đúng Achan. Yes
Yeah.
Achan.
Otherwise, what can be sila if it's a chitta and chitasika? Behave its own way by condition to be kusala or akusala. No one there at all. The point is understanding the truth that actually there's no one. Even the behavior or the kusala moment and akusala moment are no one at all. Just conditioned moment, conditioned reality. Understanding that sila is the behavior of citta and cetasikas, it can answer any question about sila because any moment of kusala is kusala sila. It behaves by way of kusala. And when it is akusala, it behaves in the manners of akusala, killing, stealing, and so on. So would you like to have only 5 sila or 8 sila or 10 sila or more if possible? See,
Dạ
the
thưa
more
Achan, con không muốn có giới con chỉ tìm hiểu thôi Achan. Con chỉ tìm hiểu về cái sự thật của 8 giới đó, nó là có phải là tồn tại, nó có phải là của Đức Phật đặt ra không? Tại vì con thấy nó giống như là một cái phương pháp, nếu mà là của Đức Phật đặt ra thì nó không có hợp lý, nên con chỉ hỏi để tìm hiểu thôi, chứ con không muốn là mình có mấy giới
Ajahn, it's not that I try to have many silas. I'm just trying to understand why there are the 8 silas, and because I find it doesn't really make sense, so I wonder whether it was something that was set down by the Buddha, and what is the meaning of that?
The behavior of Chitta and Chittasika is Sila. So that it's not just 5 or 8 or 10, more than that. And the other kind of the 8 Sila is not just only the 5 and not to sleep on the bed and so on, and do not eat after lunch and so on. But another kind of 8 Sila is the 5 with right speech, right deeds, and right career or living, right living. See? And that's the one. That's why there is a next kind of 8 Sila too. Achivaka Mata Sila. So we read
And
more and we understand the meaning of Sila, the behavior of Chitta and Cetasikas in the wholesome way, as much as the lay people should keep or observe is 5 in daily life, or 8 more by having such right speech, right deeds, and right living, life way of living.
Right livelihood,
Achivaka
John. Yes.
Matka Sila. Please, Kunjurata.
I was just mentioning right livelihood is the one you are thinking of.
Thank
Right
you.
living, right livelihood.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
The right
and I
word.
was just going to add, so now at this moment, no one is killing, no one is stealing, no one is speaking harshly. Does it mean there is the following of 5, 8 more precepts? What about the chitta now? If there is attachment now, is there any following of kusala sila? Any following of precepts? Not at all. So whatever we read about in the teachings, no matter in the Vinaya, no matter in the suttas, no matter in the Abhidhamma, it's about this moment. So at this moment, if there is a thought of something harmful or thought of clinging, then no kusala sila, no following of any precepts. So it's not a matter of the words or the outer appearance, but the chitta at this very moment. And this is why, as Ajahn said from the start, we have to understand what is sila, the manner, the behavior of the way of thinking and the mental factors. Because at this moment, if there's no understanding, how can it be known if there's any wholesome observance of kusala, if there's no thought of abstaining from killing, then there is no abstention from killing at this moment. Or if there is abstention, but it's with anger, then it's not the following of kusala sila. So this is why life comes back to this moment. And there has to be the understanding of dhammas from the start. Otherwise, it's impossible to follow any precepts at all without understanding. So for the monks, it is the observance of the rules with understanding, with kusala chittas. And the main point, as Ajahn said, is the understanding that it's not the monk, it's not I, it's not someone. We're talking about the nature of different chittas, the understanding of what is wholesome and what is unwholesome, what is kusala, what is akusala from the start, not just the reciting of rules or the outer appearance at all. And for the newcomers who joined for the first time, some of these words are confusing. So kusala is wholesome. So at moments of kindness or friendliness or generosity, This is what is meant by kusala, and sila is the manner, the behavior of the way of thinking and behaving. And akusala is the opposite. For example, one might go to the temple and make an offering, but it may be with a lot of attachment. So at that moment, it's not wholesome, even though the appearance seems to be so good. So the Buddha taught about the nature of life at this moment, the nature of the moments of experiencing and those realities that don't experience anything. So seeing is now. It's different from thinking about what is seen. And the seeing now is different from what is seen. And we begin to learn that in truth, no one is there to see or hear or think, because there are just these different realities. So whatever the topic, this is what we're discussing about life at this very moment, in order to see what the real problems are in life. And the real problems are the ignorance and clinging in life, taking all the experiences in life for I, for me, that seems so important. Whereas in fact, there are just these different realities, different mental and physical realities arising and falling away, which don't belong to anyone. I'm just wondering if Chow or Amanda or any newcomers have any questions before we continue on with Soon Lan's topic.
I saw someone, my Haiming, raised hand, so I will ask. Dạ vâng, thầy có đạo hữu Mai Hải Minh có giơ tay vừa nãy, đạo hữu muốn phát biểu đúng không ạ? Xin mời ạ. Dạ, không biết có phải là đạo hữu định giơ tay phát biểu hay là do bấm nhầm ạ?
Is it clear now about Sila? It can be the start to understand the other word too. It's not just remembering the meaning, but the truth is that what is Sila? If there's no reality which arises and experience the object with attachment, aversion, and on different moment, how can it be different? So the behavior which is different is the different sila. Different citta behave differently. If it's not citta and cetasika, then there is no sila at all. No experiencing of anything at all. So now the moment of seeing experiences the visible object, and then kusala or akusala, ignorance or attachment or kindness or compassion, they are different moments, the different moment of the reality which arises and experiences the object from day to day, from moment to moment, never be the same moment at all. So the kusala sila, wholesome sila, akusala sila in a day. If there's no citta, no behavior at all, whether it's wholesome or unwholesome manners, and the behavior of citta and cetasika is what we say sila, the way it arises and say, speech or deed. So now, even we don't think about the 5 or the 8 or the 10, there can be the understanding of the way one is there doing something. See, speaking some words or something, it can be known. whether it's wholesome or unwholesome. So it is kusala sila or akusala sila, the wholesome behavior or the unwholesome behavior. Dog and cat, do they have behavior?
Sure, Ajahn.
Yeah, yes, Ajahn.
Say the behavior of chitta without the shape of cat or dog. It's the behavior, the way it has been accumulated. Whenever that is the reality which experiences the object, there must be the behavior of such reality by way of speech or deeds. As much as we can learn to understand the truth, kusala or akusala, at the start, and then go on more and more understanding of the different moments, different citta and citasikas.
Không biết chị Xuân Lan còn có thắc mắc nào liên quan đến câu hỏi của chị không ạ? Có những điểm mà nào chưa rõ thì chị cứ cho biết ạ.
Qua những cái gì Ajahn và ông bà Chanchara giảng thì con hiểu là giới chỉ là những cái hành xử của tâm và tâm sở. Nó là những cái khoảnh khắc của thiện và bất thiện. Sanh khởi do duyên, không có ai giữ giới cả. Nhưng nếu như mà chúng ta học mà chúng ta không có hiểu và cứ nghĩ giới là phải đem ra để thực hành với một ý niệm về ngã, về cái tôi, thì lúc đó đã sai rồi. Chẳng hạn như là khi mà nói là giữ bát quan trai giới trong một cái ngày rằm chẳng hạn, như vậy thì nó đã có mang nặng cái tà kiến, cái dính mắc ở đó. Nên con đó là một cái vấn đề mà con muốn đưa ra để đặt câu hỏi, và qua những cái gì Ajahn giảng thì con có hiểu thêm rõ ràng hơn như vậy. Dạ, yên tâm.
According to what you said, I understand that the sila is the behavior of the chitta and the chittasikas, and they can be kusala or akusala, and they arise by conditions. But when we try to keep a number of precepts in a certain day, for example, like 8 precepts at the full moon, for example, then it is the idea of someone doing something. So that was also what I thought, but now with your explanation, I think I understand it a little better.
That's why we have to understand the basic, the word Dhamma. See, what is it? It's Sila Dhamma. If there's no understanding of the word Dhamma, how can there be any idea about whether Sila is Dhamma or not? That's why we begin to understand the ultimate truth of what is there in each moment. No doubt about the reality of Citta, Cittasika, Rupa.
And if I could just add one comment to your last remarks, Ms. Suan Lan, when there is the intention to observe a certain number of precepts, that is not the same as a moment of abstaining from breach of the precept. So only at the moment of abstaining from breach of the precept is there actually the observance of a precept. Precepts are not something that the idea of wanting to observe a certain number of precepts is quite different from the kusala moment that abstains from a breach. Keep those two distinctions in mind, and it will help.
Yeah, yes. Thank you, John. Con hiểu chỗ này rồi ạ. Yeah.
I got this point. Thank you, John. May I have a question? Was Uposatha Day and the 8 precepts something that was a common practice during the Buddha time? Like when we read the text, sometimes it seems that people went to the temple and stayed there at Uposatha Day and keeping the 8 precepts. It seemed to me.
Well, what does that mean, though? That the fact they went to the temple and observed the precepts. I think it means that they had in mind the precepts, whether it be 5 or 8 or 10. It doesn't mean there was any formal recitation of the precepts. It doesn't mean there was a giving of the precepts by the head monk to the lay followers. I think they just of their own inclination and understanding saw the benefit in observing more precepts for that day than they normally observed. But I don't think it's anything to do with the development of understanding of the true nature of present moment reality.
Yes, thank you, John. And by the way, there was a question in the same topic that was raised some time ago in the Vietnamese discussion. So I would like to bring it up here as well. Because among the 8 precepts, there is the precept of not eating in the afternoon. So we understand the reason why the Buddha laid down this rule for the monks. But for the lay people, what is the significance of restraining from eating in the afternoon, just for certain days, like some Uposatha days or something like that? What is the significance of that?
I think again it comes back to kusala sila, akusala sila. What is the point? What is the purpose? If it's with clinging because one thinks this is the way to have more goodness, then it's akusala sila at that moment. If one doesn't eat because of to avoid causing other people trouble, then maybe kusala sila at that moment. So each moment, each citta depends on the nature of the citta and the mental states. But the Buddha never made any rule or suggested that lay people shouldn't eat after midday, or laid down any rule that this is the way it should be. So it's everyone lives according to their circumstances, like other rules for the monks, like not eating noisily or in a rough way because it's inconsiderate to those around. One can consider the value and follow quietly on one's own. Or one can consider, like for the monks who don't eat after midday, because otherwise, like before, they had that rule. They're thinking about food all the time. So it's good to have some periods when one's not obsessed with thinking about food, perhaps. But whatever we're talking about, it comes down to kusala sila, akusala sila. Not a rule that everyone has to follow. And like the other ones that John mentioned, the other 8 precepts, including abstaining from harmful speech or deeds or livelihood, for example. What about the abstaining from harmful speech anytime? Why just on full moon day, for example? So kusala sila can be any time, and it depends on what one finds helpful to follow, what one has learned from the rules of the monk, what is useful to apply.
Very well put. Thank you. Sarah. Dạ, con không biết là chị Xuân Lan cũng như là các đạo hữu khác còn có câu hỏi hay là những ý thắc mắc nào liên quan đến chủ đề vừa rồi ạ? Chị Xuân Lan đã cảm thấy mãn nguyện chưa chị Xuân Lan? Chị có...
Cái phần đó thì chị thấy là mãn nguyện rồi em. Có nghĩa là đã trả lời được cái phần thắc mắc của chị rồi. Chị xin hỏi thêm. Thưa Achan và ông bà Chonsara, có phải là khi mà tiết chế các tâm bất thiện không sanh khởi, chẳng hạn như là tham, dục hay là sân hận, mà khi mà được tiết chế những cái khoảnh khắc của những tâm bất thiện đó thì có giới thiện hay không ạ? Tức là lúc đó là có 5 giới hay là 8 giới? Con hiểu như vậy có đúng không ạ?
Nhưng mà chị đang muốn nói đến tiết chế những tâm bất thiện như thế nào? Ví dụ tâm bất thiện sát sinh hay là chỉ là tâm bất thiện, ví dụ là thích ăn một cái gì?
Đúng rồi em, đó có thể bất cứ là cái gì, ví dụ như là muốn sát sanh mà ức chế cái tâm sân đó để không sát sanh thì lúc đó là có giới. Và cũng tương tự như vậy, khi mà bất cứ một cái hành động nào, bất cứ một cái hành xử nào của tâm mà nó là bất thiện, mà khi có sự tiết chế về những cái tâm sở bất thiện đó thì tức là đã có giới thiện rồi, chứ không cần phải tạo ra giới thiện nữa. Chị hiểu như vậy, không biết có đúng không? Giờ em hỏi.
She'd like to know whether when there is the restraining from akusala, whether it's a killing or any kinds of akusala, like dosa, then there is the kusala sila. Is that right?
So if there is a thought of harming or thought of killing, and then there is the wholesome restraint at that moment, it is the virity, the abstaining from killing, from harming, the right action, the following of the precept, if it is with kusala sila. But if there is the abstaining with dosa, then it's a kusala sila, even though there is no killing or harming at that moment. So this is why I don't really mind if others would like to dress in white and go to the temple and recite precepts, but it doesn't, like you said at the beginning, usually it's just a clinging to rituals without any understanding and following a tradition and following expectations without understanding of dharmas, without understanding about this moment, then nothing can be understood. So it's nothing to do with the appearance. Just because everyone here is avoiding killing at this moment doesn't mean there's any kusala sila or any virati cetasika abstaining from killing or harming, because no opportunity to harm or to kill now anyway. So I think your initial comments were right, that just announcing a suppositor that one's following the 8 precepts and reciting actually has nothing to do with the development of kusala sila at all.
Dạ, như vậy thì thưa cô, có phải là ý của cô muốn nói là khi mà cái tâm bất thiện mà nó sanh khởi, nếu như mà có ức chế ở đó, thì có khi ngay đó nó cũng là bất thiện chứ nó không phải là thiện, nó không phải là thiện giới, có phải không ạ?
So do you mean that when there are akusala chittas and there are some abstaining from akusala behavior, for example, the chitta might be akusala. It doesn't necessarily follow that the chitta will be kusala when it tries to abstain. Is that right?
Right. So if it's a kusala that abstains, for example, one may abstaining from speaking harshly because one knows others will criticize one, or one's family will be disappointed. So it's not any wholesome virity. It's not any kusala sila at that moment. So that's why even for the monks, it's not the outer appearance and the number of rules that appear to be kept, but without the development of right understanding, then it's impossible to follow all the rules in a wholesome way, because it's not understood at all. And that's why usually one by one, the rules cannot be followed, because there's no understanding from the start about kusala sila and akusala sila and the value of wholesome restraint as opposed to unwholesome restraint. So not the appearance, not the situation, but the nature of the chitta now and then that is important. This is why only the Sotapanna can follow the 5 precepts perfectly without any thought of harming at all, because of the development of understanding, of wholesome sila, kusala sila, and akusala sila, and the understanding, no one here, no one there, great confidence in the development of kusala, the development of the path, very naturally.
Dạ, thank you Sarah. Con đã hiểu rồi ạ. Thưa cô Sarah, có thể giảng cho con thêm về cái tâm sở giới phần là cái chánh nghiệp ạ. Hồi nãy chú Sơn có hỏi cái đó thoáng qua, nhưng mà con trong đầu con cũng thắc mắc là chánh nghiệp nó là như thế nào cụ thể, nó có phải là theo con hiểu thì con hiểu thì nó rất là đơn sơ, mà con không biết là nó có đúng hay không, thì con nghĩ là chánh nghiệp tức là những cái nghề nghiệp mà nó không có nằm trong cái giới cấm, tức là nó không phải là những cái nghề nghiệp mà có cái tính chất bất thiện, chẳng hạn như là nghề mổ heo hay là nghề đồ tể gì đó, hay là nghề buôn bán vũ khí gì đó. Nhưng mà con không biết là như vậy nó có đúng hay không. Con nhờ cô Sarah có thể giảng thêm cho chúng con ạ.
Chị muốn nói
Dạ.
về chánh mạng đúng không ạ? Cái mà vừa rồi chị nói đấy là chánh mạng chứ không phải là chánh nghiệp.
Chị muốn hỏi cái chánh nghiệp á, Tâm. Chị nghĩ thật ra thì kể cả cái chánh nghiệp và chánh mạng chị cũng không phân biệt
chánh
được
nghiệp
đó Tâm.
là không sát sinh, không trộm cắp, không tà dâm ạ. Còn chánh mạng thì là làm những cái nghề như vậy. Thì chị muốn hỏi về cả hai hay là muốn hỏi về cái gì ạ?
Như vậy thì hỏi đến cái nghề nghiệp đó Tâm, như vậy là nó thuộc về cái chánh mạng hả Tâm? Vậy em hỏi giùm chị đi Tâm.
So would you please explain more about the rights livelihood? What is the rights livelihood?
Actually, it just refers to the abstaining from harmful speech or deeds in the course of one's way of living. So, like now, one may be inclined to say something harshly, but there is abstaining from that speech. And it may be the same as one does one's job or in the temple, sweeps the floor in the course of one's way of living. So it's just the same kind of reality, but it just refers to that abstention from wrong speech or wrong action in the course of one's way of living or one's livelihood.
Ms. Sun Wan also mentions about avoiding certain kinds of work. For example, like butcher and selling weapons and poisons and so on.
Yeah, this is different from the observance of precepts. If one pursues a livelihood that includes taking the life of other beings, then obviously there will be many moments of breach of that precept. But there can still be moments of right livelihood too, when there's abstention from wrong speech or abstention from wrong action of some kind, like not cheating the customer or whatever activity one is engaged in. So I think the reason why certain kinds of livelihood were mentioned was just that they necessarily involve many breaches of some of the precepts, but that is not the same as the wrong livelihood, that is the breach of the precept. And there can be moments of right livelihood when pursuing those occupations also.
Dạ, thank you John ạ. Dạ, con hiểu ạ.
Maybe Achan will have some comments on all these topics that we just mentioned.
Dhamma is so very subtle. It seems like they are all together in a moment at once. But in truth, it's not like that at all. Each moment is conditioned to arise different, even slightly. For example, the moment of such kind of livelihood, is there any moment of telling a lie, see, or cheat, at moment of give the money, money change, and so on. See, that's why there are dhammas in life. But we classify them as by way of livelihood and by way of just daily life. For example, the intention not to kill, has it a reason sometimes? Once My youngest brother died. It conditioned moment of the it conditioned a moment of thinking not to kill anymore at all. So I do not kill from then, as I remember, and so on. It depends on conditions too, or another. So each day we speak and do something. What about it? In the right way or in the wrong way? Even playing, no matter games, see what kind of game? There can be cheating, thinking about want to win and so on. That's why it's just daily life to be truthful to the moment of kusla or akusla and understand that it cannot be controlled because whatever arises by condition has a reason already right now. That's why learn to understand what is what. A kusla moment is different from kusla moment. That's all. And they all see like the behavior of citta and cetasikas. Do we have to classify them by such situation or different situation? Dhamma is Dhamma. Akusla is akusla. That's why akusla citta, cetasikas are akusla sila. The behavior is wrong when citta is akusla. And the behavior is right at moment of helping the other. Is it sila or not 5 sila? So it's not sila. It's not like that at all. Any moment of kusla is kusla sila, the behavior of citta and cetasika, the reality which experiences the object in its own accumulation. To forgive is that not sila? Because what about what kind of what number of it? See, but it's kusala. It is wholesome at level of sila, not understanding the truth as no one there at all. But all dhammas can be realized. So no matter at moment of kusala sila or akusala sila, what are they taken for? I or something permanent has to be eradicated permanently. Otherwise, how can there be the realization of the end of dukkha, no arising anymore, and so on? That's why learn to understand the truth of life in daily life, no matter what word is there. For example, sila is the behavior of citta and cetasika. So for ordinary person, not arahanta yet, kusala sila and akusala sila, because vibhaka does not behave at all. It just there, perform its function. According to its function, just arise to see, gone, nothing to do to behave at all. But kusala and akusala condition such different behaviors through speech and deeds, and even in mind, even it's not done or speech yet. Learn to understand Dhamma as different Dhammas. Each word represents a reality right then, wholesome or unwholesome. Even thinking, unwholesome thought, wanting to kill or destroy Devadatta, wanting to kill the Buddha and so on. See, akusala sila, the behavior through body, the mind and the body, see, to do, to speak according to what is the kusala or akusala condition, the moment of speaking, doing anything in life. So what is there in life, each moment, which is not vipaka or kiriya, it is the sila. Do we have to find what number is there? Nothing to be done because it's wholesome, sila. the behavior of Chitta and Cetasika. Understand more about Chitta by different aspects that Buddha taught about. So now no doubt about Sila, whether it is Kusala or Kusala, by way of Sutta, Abhidhamma, or Vinaya. When Chitta is akusala, the speech is unwholesome, right?
Yes, Ajahn.
So it is akusala sila, even there's no killing. Do we have to
And it's
count how many numbers are there for sila? Any moment of kusala and kusala, they are sila. And apayakata sila for arahata, because even arahata sees and behave.
Thank you, Ajahn. Let
so
Thank
me,
there
you,
can be
Ajahn.
kusala, akusala, sila, or any lay person, any monk, and the same with kusala and akusala livelihood too. The speech and the way of living. For example, if the monk speaks harshly, or the monk takes something that doesn't belong to him, then it's akusala sila, wrong livelihood. So it doesn't just depend on the occupation. A doctor or vet can have akusala, sila, unwholesome livelihood too. It all comes back to the chitta.
dạ vâng, hồi buổi đầu pháp đàm chị Lan Khánh cũng có giới thiệu chị Châu cùng con gái của chị Châu tham dự pháp đàm buổi đầu tiên. Không biết là chị Châu có đặt câu hỏi, có câu hỏi nào đặt ra hay là chị Châu đang chỉ muốn nghe thôi ạ? So I just asked Miss Châu whether she would like to have any, she would like to ask any question or.
Dạ mô Phật, hôm nay thì lần đầu tiên em của con có tới đây thì con chỉ muốn nghe để tìm hiểu trước thôi ạ. Dạ chưa có những câu hỏi nào. Dạ có thể đợt sau hoặc như thế nào thì con sẽ có thể đặt những câu hỏi. Dạ. A Di Đà Phật.
Dạ, vâng, cảm ơn chị. So she said that this is the first time ever that she attended a Dhamma discussion, so she doesn't have any question for now, and she just listens. Maybe next time. I also see another friend, Vân. I don't know whether you are ready to ask any of your questions regarding meditation. Because this is a good opportunity. So if you are available, you can raise your question here.
Yes. So I'm quite new to the group, and I have been having the question keeping the question that whether like when let me try to put my question because before I was advice to go to meditation, and also now that I'm listening to Dhamma talk, and I understand that we need to have the right understanding of the true nature of reality, and I also wonder when how meditation would help with this process, and when should we do the meditation.
What is your understanding of meditation, Van? What does it mean?
So before, when I went to the meditation, I didn't have the understanding about the purpose of the meditation. I just knew that the purpose of meditation was to have the peace of mind and to have the real, like, happiness, the true happiness, or to have the meditation will lead people to enlightenment. So like meditation would help people to have the samadhi first, and then will lead to enlightenment, to the understanding of the true nature of reality. So,
and
that was
if
my
there is
understanding before.
if there's no discussion or no consideration about what life is, or what happiness is, or what samadhi is it possible just to sit quietly and develop peace and samadhi and lead to enlightenment without any understanding at the outset?
Yeah, so now I understand that we need to have the right understanding. If we don't have the understanding, the purpose, we may go to the wrong direction. We may
Because
not
the
have.
Buddha talked about a word, Pali word, bhavana, which means the development of right understanding. People use the word meditation, but actually the Buddha taught about the development of understanding, the development of life at this moment. He didn't say one should go to a quiet place, sit quietly, and concentrate on an object, and that this would lead to enlightenment. This wasn't taught at all. He taught about the truth of life now, seeing now, hearing now, pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling. And he taught that all realities in life are anatta. That means no one to do anything, no one to go anywhere, no one to see, no one to hear, no one to find peace of mind, no one to concentrate, because all dharmas are conditioned and anatta, not belonging to a self. So the point of having the discussion is to understand a little more about the truth that the Buddha taught, what we take for being peace of mind. For example, when everything seems so tranquil and pleasant, like when we're sitting quietly or going for a nice walk, actually, most of it is attachment. because there's no kindness, no generosity, no understanding at those moments. So we take for peace of mind what is actually common attachment because it feels so nice, it feels so good. So the point of discussing now is to understand more about what life is right now, such as seeing now. Can you see or can you change what is seen now?
I now like I learn about the like we always say that we learn that each moment is conditioned, it's rising and falling, and there's no there's no one to experience all that. It's just the
Correct. It's
chitta,
just the way it's just the way
yeah.
the chitta is conditioned to arise. And
Yes.
what is seen is not in my control or your control or anyone's control. It's just what there are conditions to see at this moment. The thinking now is conditioned. The hearing is conditioned. The wholesome or unwholesome concentration at a moment of thinking is conditioned. Whatever arises is conditioned. So if one has the idea of trying to have peace of mind, trying to have samadhi, trying to understand, it's not the understanding of dhammas as anatta, dhammas which are conditioned, just as you said. So this is the point. So the more understanding develops, the more confidence, nowhere for I to go, nothing for I to do, because there is no I. Life is just existing at this very moment, no matter here or no matter in the temple, no matter at home, no matter in the market. Seeing is just seeing, hearing is just hearing. So the purpose of listening and reading and considering the teachings is just for the sake of understanding at this very moment. No wish to get something like more peace or more happiness, but just for the purpose of understanding life as it's conditioned right now.
Yes.
Does this make sense, Van?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I'm trying to learn that.
Yeah. And just let the understanding seep through. No need to try to do anything. Let it work its way naturally by
Yes.
listening, considering. It will develop naturally without thinking one has to go to a special place or focus on a special object, because that's the idea of I doing something, not the understanding developing naturally of life as it is now. And it's like letting go of a big burden, the burden of what I must do, the peace and the happiness I must find. It's a big burden, and it leads to the opposite of what one would like.
Yes. And
Nice to meet you, Van.
yeah,
Yes.
thank you. Nice to meet you too. Actually, I have some people who have some friends who have issues with their they have depression, and they are often advised to go to like some meditation center or like just to improve on their condition by going to attend some meditation course. And I wonder if it is appropriate for people to do so, just given situation of mental health.
A bit like taking a tonic or a kind of medicine from the doctor, then they may be advised have a break from work and go and sit somewhere quietly. It's okay, but nothing to do with the Buddha's teachings, nothing
Right.
to do with the development of understanding. It's a bit like I go to do my yoga exercise or swim in the ocean, but nothing to do with the development of understanding. But whilst swimming, whilst taking the medicine, they're still seeing, they're still hearing, they're still thinking. There can be understanding anytime, anyway.
Yes, thank you.
There or here at home, some people like to go to quiet places. Some people like to always be busy in the market, but still seeing, hearing, thinking, understanding is still the way. No matter how life goes, no matter whether happy or depressed, taking medicine or not taking medicine, the truth is the truth. Life is this very moment, wholesome and unwholesome, sila, like we discussed. So the best medicine of all for anyone is the understanding the nature of realities, like depression. What is it? What is the reality? Unpleasant feeling, dosa. What is the cause of dosa? The clinging to sense objects, clinging to peace, clinging to special experiences, and disappointment when it's not the way we'd like it. Because whatever arises in life falls away instantly. The pleasant object is the object of clinging, and then unpleasant object, and one feels unhappy. So in the long run, only the understanding of the truth can solve all problems in life. And we begin to see the real causes of all difficulties or mental disturbances is the ignorance and attachment. Now,
Yes, I understand.
we
Thank
can
you.
take many different kinds of band-aids, but what about understanding the real cause of our problems in life? And especially the clinging to I that can control, I that feels sad, I that would like this or that. The clinging to I causes all these difficulties and disturbances. So the Buddha's teachings can help a lot.
Yes.
In every aspect, in every way. And the more understanding, the more confidence of what is the right way.
And I think that for a person with depression, there is a real risk that meditation practice could not bring any positive outcome, but rather the reverse. Possibly not a good thing for someone who has depression to try and meditate.
Oh, okay.
There's no proven connection between meditation and release from depression, as far as I know.
Oh, thank you. Maybe it's just a temporary, like getting away from all the, the troublesome mind when they have like some time slowing down, not having to think about the things that are making them, that are disturbing them. That may be like a temporary getting away from the problem. It helps in that sense, or
It's possible, but not certain. And there's always the chance that the reverse can happen, that a person who tries to clear their mind is in fact overwhelmed by bad thoughts. There's a story of a monk in the time of the Buddha who wanted to go into the forest to live on his own, and the Buddha advised against it, or didn't give permission when asked, put it that way. But the monk went ahead nevertheless, but he was overwhelmed by dosa in the forest and had to leave. And I think the same can apply to anyone who tries some kind of practice like that.
Right. I got it. Thank you.
And usually we find the troubled mind, the baggage, follows wherever we go.
Yes, it's so true.
Because the problem is not the boss at work or the home or the busy life or the shopping. The problem is the clinging and the
Yes.
ignorance that conditions that dosa,
Yes.
no matter where.
Yes. That's right. Thank you.
Sure, Achan would like to add some comments on these topics as well, Achan.
What is the most precious moment in life? In life. See, what is the most precious moment in life? There is not just one moment, many, many moments, one by one. And what is the most precious moment? In life at all.
A question for you then.
Yes, I'm trying to think. So I think the precious moment would be those that we have no attachment.
Is it precious attachment?
Did you ask, is it precious attachment? Sorry, I couldn't hear it clearly.
So again, please, what is the most precious moment in life? Each life.
It's like I just said that is when we have no attachment.
Can there be no attachment out of the blue?
Is when we have the right understanding
Of what?
of each moment of the
So,
moment.
can there be understanding of what is there right now?
If
Because it's so precious. Can it be right now? Begin to understand what is there, little by little.
yeah, I think little by little we will what we are trying to do is to have the right understanding.
How can we do?
Just each like we have the understanding of the rising and falling of the chitta,
What
of
is,
the
yeah.
hearing or the touching, tasting.
Before there can be the moment of realizing what is there arising and falling away, should there be the understanding of what is there, which now arises and falls away from now, right now, the understanding of what is there arising and falling away. Sila or what? See, many moments listening, considering, but what is there right now?
Right now, I think there's thinking. There's
What
a lot of thinking going on after hearing.
is there any understanding of thinking right now? See, right now there is thinking, and the most precious moment is understanding the truth, and the truth of this moment is thinking. So, is there any understanding of the nature of thinking right now? What is it?
I'm
What
not
is
sure.
what is thinking?
I'm not sure, Ajahn.
Is the thinking?
Sorry, Ajahn.
Is there thinking right now?
Yes.
What is it?
Trying to think what it is right now.
That's why the most precious moment is understanding the truth of what is there any moment. The truth of what is there at any moment. The most precious moment is begin to attend to the characteristic of that which is there. Thinking, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, liking, disliking. What are there in life can be observed or can be learned or can be attained to the nature of it that one has heard about it. Is it real thinking? Is thinking real? Right now? Is it simple question?
I'm sorry, I'm
Oh,
not sure about the answer.
so now are you sure about Sila?
Yes.
What is Sila?
Seeing? Did you ask about seeing?
We have talked about Sila, and it
Sila.
seems there is the understanding of Sila, but now is there Sila now?
Van, because you're new here, so you may not have all been very clear earlier. So when we were talking earlier about sila, it was actually referring to the nature of different wholesome and unwholesome moments of consciousness and mental factors. So, for example, at a moment of attachment, it's unwholesome sila, akusala sila. At a moment of understanding, it's wholesome sila, kusala sila. So different from moments of seeing and hearing, which are result citas, result moments of consciousness, the result of karma. So the sila refers to what is wholesome and what is unwholesome, and it accumulates. Attachment now conditions more attachment. Understanding now conditions more understanding. So it becomes a habit. So the point of the discussion and the questions is so that the understanding becomes a little firmer and becomes a habit. But when Ajahn asked, is it clear about sila now? For anyone, it's not clear now because there has to be so much listening and considering and questioning. And now there is thinking about what has been said, thinking about the meaning. And the point of discussing more about thinking or seeing or what is wholesome or unwholesome is to really understand there is no one there, no Sarah, no Van, no Ajahn, just different moments of experiencing and different realities that experience different realities that don't experience anything. No one, no thing, just different dharmas arising and falling away. So I think we can continue these topics next time. Actually, I think you've done very well for a newcomer because it's very deep and very subtle. Nothing easy for anyone at all. So thank you for helping everyone.
สวัสดี
Thank you
ค่ะ
so much.
everyone
Thank you so